Welcome to the MAG Network Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to this next edition of the MAG Network Podcast. This is the fourth edition for July of 2023. I'm Colin Brown and with me today I've got Michael Armstrong. Do you want to introduce yourself, Michael?
Thank you, Colin. Yeah, my name is Michael Armstrong and I'm the National Political Officer. Now, my role within MAG is to assist the political team, which is made up of Colin and Lembit. They're busy really doing the campaigns and making all the words. And for me, I'm like a national campaigns coordinator and I get their words and we put it into action. And when I put it into action, we try and get the grassroots people, the members of the organisation, to lobby their MPs and engage with the politicians and councillors, the decision makers.
Yes, I think it's very important for people to remember that MAG as an organisation is not about representing the views of a few; it's representing the views of everybody. And the best way for that to happen is for everybody to take part and to do their own little bit of engagement with their local politicians, their local council, to try and get these messages through. We can have large national campaigns, but realistically, the campaigns only really happen at local level. So it's important that everybody gets involved. So what sort of success are you having in the role? What sort of numbers have you got in terms of people who are engaging with the process? How well is it going at the moment?
Well, just to bash out some numbers, there's approximately 1 million motorcyclists within the UK, and 1% of that equals about 10,000, and that is roughly around the MAG membership. We're not at 10,000; we're around about 7,000, but it's broad figures. So we're only 1% of the motorcyclists in the UK. So me, at my own work, I'm a union rep, and I've never known a pay deal or anything like that be won on 1% of the ballot papers. It just won't happen. So we as MAG, even if we all chipped in, the whole membership, we still need support from the other motorcyclists within the UK to get our aims across and win our goals. Now, within MAG itself, we've just done our latest campaign, which is Operation Earthquake, and we've successfully lobbied to date, which is the 4th of July, 82 MPs. Now, with 82 MPs, there is 650 of them in the Houses of Parliament. So we are going in the right direction, but out of the whole MAG membership, I would roughly say about 200 people are actually engaging with the process, and we've got 7,000. So as MAG as an organisation, we need to keep on increasing those numbers, and when we're doing good success, hopefully the motorcycle community at large will then be brought onto our process.
Yes, like I say, I think the strength in numbers is an important thing for people to remember. I think it's very easy for an individual to assume that somebody else is going to do it. But unfortunately, the vast majority of people assume that somebody else is going to do it. And the end result is that nobody actually does it. So I think it's an important point for people to remember is that you only need to do a little bit to make a big difference. If everybody does a little bit, then the workload is reduced because, it's not left to one person to do all the work in the country. But what, in terms of what you're asking people to do, what's the methods of engagement that you're asking them to take part in? What is it that you're asking them to actually physically do as a result of supporting a MAG campaign?
Well, there's all kinds of types of political engagement, and I'll just go over a few of them with you. Right. One of our main ones is sending an email. MAG and the political unit will write out a template email. That's just a guide. People can adapt that email, make it fit for purpose, because people understand and might know their MP. we will broadly talk about the national issue, and then people can add in how it can happen in that local area. Another thing is Facebook. Most politicians and councillors have got their own Facebook page. So if they ask a question on transport, people can easily reply to that and say, what are you doing about motorcycles? Nice and dead easy. And if people then see that and other motorcyclists just like that comment, the chances are the more likes on that comment, the politician will reply to your comment. We've also do press releases on the national website. We do press releases and MAG communications on our Facebook page, so that can easily be shared. And then for people who aren't on Facebook, we've also got the network. So that once a month we can do a roundup of all of the political news and any engagement that needs to be done. Then you've got face-to-face. So MPs have surgery meetings. So once you've lobbied an MP once or twice, you've built up a bit of a relationship, a bit of a confidence thing with that MP, and they just know that you've kept on engaging with them. So that's a good place to see their MP because it's in nice surroundings, and you just have a general chit chat with them, and it's good. Another key place to engage with politicians or councillors is MAG events. In Cumbria, we have our dead end rally, and I invite the local MPs. And this year, hopefully, we'll have 3 MPs coming down, and one of them's an ex-minister of transport. So it should be a really good conversation.
Yes, I think it's important for folk to remember that members of Parliament, they are human beings at the end of the day. So it's always important that whilst, yes, we may not be happy with what they're doing, but they are human beings, and you can enter into a reasonable conversation with them if you take the right approach. If you don't go in all guns blazing and just start shouting at them from the outset, they're more likely to listen. But how do you think all this plays out? I mean, from an MP's perspective, they're there to represent a constituency with many thousands of people. What is it that you think cuts through with them? What is it that moves the dial and makes them actually think that this is a subject that they need to get involved with and actually take some action on?
Yeah, to answer that question, Colin, what does the MP want? Well, basically it's votes, and when they get their votes, they get re-elected in their constituency. And the only people who they will listen to is those constituents. And for me, I can't lobby another MP because that's against parliamentary rules. So it has to be people within their constituents. Now, if you engage with them and you can organise yourself, and it isn't just one person to engage with that MP. It'd be nice for motorcyclists if we did a campaign to get 5 people to lobby that person, and getting 5 people to do it is far better than just being one person.
Yeah, I think like I say, it comes back to this the strength in numbers. Say, whilst yes, your conversation with your MP is important, possibly just as important is persuading your mates to have a similar conversation. They don't all have to be exactly the same conversation. They don't have to say exactly the same set of words. But if it's the same subject, it's going to indicate to that member of Parliament that this is something that is of interest to more than just one individual. One lone voice is never going to cut through by itself, but a number of people all saying broadly the same message is likely to move the dial, because, like I say, the MP will be saying, well, that's now 10 votes that I could possibly win by going in that direction. How many more votes could I win?
Well, at the Dead End Rally, we actually invite the MPs to be a guest judge at the bike show. So we are giving them a job to do. But at the same time, it gives the opportunity for me to talk to the MPs, MAG members to talk to the MPs, and just motorcyclists to talk to the MPs, and they will get a different point of view of everyone. But the MP comes back with a sense of feeling. It isn't just one person talking to me. A lot of people are backing MAG, and that's the main thing. Supporting MAG. If you advertise and show people what you've accomplished on that meeting and spread the word, the chances are that MP will come back to you because you've raised their profile, and then they will reciprocate by share what we've shared on their pages. So it just raises both profiles. It's mutually benefiting, and what the MP sees is that if their profile has been raised to Facebook and local press, the constituents of that area is actually seeing that their MP is busy and engaging with the locals.
Yes, yeah, like I say, it is very much a case of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. As I say, when I did the interview with Ian Paisley, he was saying, MPs are always keen to get a photo shoot, to get their name in the local newspaper with a picture. It shows that they're engaging with people. So if you can actually offer them something in terms of increasing their profile, they're more likely to be prepared to do a little bit to help you to achieve your end goal. So what would you say is the overall, if you were to sum it up in a nutshell, what's the overall goal of the campaigning? What is it that we're trying to achieve by doing all this?
Well, the overall objective is it's to prove that any given government, to say that MAG is a legitimate campaigning body. So it's a case of we're definitely putting the action into MAG. And when they realise that we are all organised and we're all doing our little bit, and we can cover somewhere between a third to half of the MPs in government, so that's roughly about 200 to 300, they know that we cover the nation, and it is an issue not just in one area, but the whole lot. And if you can get 250 people lobbied, that makes a lot of noise. But that's only the first part of it, because the next part of it is to get 5 different people to lobby those 250 MPs. And then, maybe after that, we'll get 10 people to lobby those 250 MPs. And that ends up being 2,500 people. That's 2,500 keen people who are actually willing to put the time in. And those people, from a government point of view, is saying, well, they have a vested interest in that. They will vote. They will tell other people what they're interested in, which is riders' rights. And that's how we progress from where we are, getting about 80 MPs lobbied up to about 250. And with all those voices, when the next time your good self and Lembit are in a ministerial meeting, it isn't just your 2 voices they're listening to. It's the other 250 to 300 MPs backing you up, talking to the ministers. But obviously, those MPs have been lobbied by another 10 people beyond that. So all these little voices amplify yours and Lembit's.
Yes, that's excellent. So from a perspective of people who maybe have not contacted their MP before, or not too sure about what's the best way of doing it, how are they best to get involved with this? Is there any way that they can contact you, or is there a Facebook group or anything like that they can get involved with that will help to effectively train them up, get them in the loop and understanding what it is that we're doing to try and do it in a coordinated manner?
Yeah, the best way to do it is my 3 S's of social media campaigning. Right. First is we've got to share the campaign post, and we've got about 20 different regions, and we've got about 50 local groups with Facebook pages. So we need to share it from the national page to the local pages, because our national page has got 23,000 followers. If you add on the local pages, I know there will be some cross-referencing, but you've basically almost doubled the amount of followers. So that's great. You've shared the message. The next thing is you've got to send the message. So every time we do a campaign, we will add our template email to that post. And when it's on the comments box, and I use my phone for everything, I just stick my thumb onto that comment box, and it'll come up with all kinds of options, and I press copy. The next thing I just need to do is open up my emails, and I start typing in my MP's name, and it'll come up, and great. So I've got the person I want to send it to, and then I press onto the email a bit with my thumb and paste, and there's the letter. And all I have to do then is stick in my MP's name, and most importantly, you've got to put your full name and address at the bottom. So then you've got your email. Then you can edit the email to your liking, because an email, even if it's edited a bit, is better than no email being sent at all. Any email that isn't being sent is no good to anyone. So once it's all done, send it off. Then the next part is show. So I need people to feed back. I need to know which MPs we have lobbied. I want to know how many numbers of MPs we lobbied. I can work out and share it back to the National Committee. Are we actually improving our lobbying capabilities? Because what the end result is to find out when you and Lembit go into a ministerial meeting. We want to then gauge how they engage with you two after we've just lobbied, say, 50 MPs, and how they're engaging with you after we've lobbied, say, 300 MPs. Is there a difference? I believe, because I'm a union rep, it will be with that type of numbers, with that kind of backing, that will give you bargaining strength. And with that, we'll be able to actually, hopefully, get government to come around to our way of thinking, and we'll be able to get the gains that we want in riders' rights. So if you work it out on average, with the 50 groups that we've got, it'll be about 5 MPs to every local group, and that will get us the 250 that we need. What we need to do is leadership at all levels. So if National Committee people are proven to show that they are putting a comment on the Facebook group and saying, I've sent it to whichever MP, which I always do. I always put it down as sent to Mark Jenkinson MP, and I'll put my name and Cumbria regional rep underneath it. So while other regional reps do the same, that's great. When they're doing it, hopefully then the local reps and officers will then do the same. That'll encourage the MAG members to do the same. And I know when you look at Facebook groups, I know how many people actually in my region are MAG members, but I've got about 5 times the amount of followers. So if I can show the followers that the MAG membership are doing it, they can do it too, and that's how you easily double the amount of email sent.
Yes, it's certainly a case of you don't need to be a MAG member to take part in a MAG campaign. Obviously, we would prefer everybody to be a member of MAG, but you don't have to be a MAG member to actually be involved in this. It is something that you can pick and choose the campaigns that you want to support or follow. If you don't want to follow all of them, that's fine. But the most important thing is get your voice heard. Is that don't sit and complain to everybody down the pub. send an email to your MP.
Yeah. My final thoughts on it is words without action are just that, words. We've got to put the action with those words. We need those words to get to the right people, which is MPs and councillors. And the only people can do it are the people who live in those constituencies and the people who live in those wards. And I'm not bothered if people are a MAG member or not. If they ride a motorcycle and they want to keep the way of how they're riding their motorcycle now and the riders' rights that they've got now, and they want to keep them, they need to be a part of the process. But people really need to follow their local MAG groups and regional pages. And when we do a national campaign, we need to spread that message, and we need people to buy into the process.
That's it. That's brilliant. Well, thanks very much for that, Michael. I say, obviously, we're running out of time on this now, but I think the key message is join MAG, take action. Simple as that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.